I we got to talk about QAnon. We got to talk about the end result of QAnon. What actually happens when people fall far enough down that particular rabbit hole? And it's not going to be great. I'm just giving you guys a fair warning, potentially even a trigger warning. So know those people died. They died. Stardust. I don't know if you've heard what happened in Michigan recently. The news broke literally today. This one is from Laura Does Art. Said it's a whip for now. Looks to be Raz working on an art program. That is adorable. The next one we have here is from Falling. They said, this isn't a normal fan art, but I play a game called Ponytown. You create and customize ponies. I thought I would make a slime Suris. It took me about 45 minutes to get the slime effect. First time posting, and I love all the content Suris makes. All of it. Even when we went on the MAGA dating website. Oh, man. Thank you very much, though. Last one we have here is from Axo That Has Cream. Said, woo, what's it going to be? I know what it's going to be. It's going to be a trading card. I ruined it for everybody. As always, everyone, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, remember to post it onto the Discord. With that said, we're just going to get right into it. This. You can read the headline, trigger warning, family death? That's probably as close we're going to get to there. Michigan man fatally shot by police after he killed his wife. His daughter blames the incident on QAnon conspiracy theory. So, yeah, no, we literally need to talk about the end result of extremism. So, let's go ahead and do that. A woman called 911 and stated that her dad and her mother in the Detroit suburb of Walled Lake, the Oakland... Let's go. Let's go. Police killed a shotgun-wielding man reportedly driven to violence by his belief in the QAnon conspiracy theory after he fatally shot his wife and wounded their daughter in suburban Detroit. A 25-year-old woman called 911 at 4:11 a.m. and stated that she had just been shot by her father on Glenwood Drive in Walled Lake, the Oakland County Sheriff's Office said in a statement. When deputies and Walled Lake police arrived at home, the man, identified as Iger Lannis, who was 53, came out the front door with a Remington 870 pump-action shotgun and started shooting at the officers. Lenny's gunfire struck a car an officer was behind and the residents behind him, although no one was injured from the shots, said the sheriff on Monday. A Walled Lake police officer and Oakland County Sheriff's deputy returned fire, which killed Lannis. The 911 caller was at the door attempting to crawl from the home before officers dragged her to safety. She was taken to a hospital and rushed into emergency surgery. And the sheriff's office said that they were adding that the woman had been upgraded from critical condition to stable, which is good. However, let's see here. Officials found the man's wife and family dog dead inside the home. The woman, 56, had been shot multiple times in the back, and it appears she was also attempting to flee out the front door. The sheriff's office said without disclosing the woman's name. The slain dog, a Great Pyrenees, was also shot multiple times. The sheriff's department said Monday it still wasn't clear what might have caused the horrific rampage. See here. Masqueration Process says, speaking of extremism, A, what is to be done to minimize it? B, what can make one preemptively invulnerable to it? So, honestly, the only thing that can make you preemptively invulnerable to extremism is to be around people of varying ideas. Isolating yourself into an echo chamber is how you become an extremist. Because the only people who you're talking to are the people who agree with everything you say. So you yourself will not notice when you are slipping down that rabbit hole. And this goes that way for any ideology. You find yourself conservative and the only people you're talking to are conservatives, guess what? You're going to fall down a right-wing rabbit hole and you're going to find yourself an extremist. You are a lefty and you only hang around lefties and Those are the only people you converse with all the time. There is a chance you may end up finding yourself down the tanky rabbit hole. Don't fucking do that. So that would be the answer to A, not B. What is to be done to minimize it? What can make one preemptively vulnerable to it? Here's the problem. What is to be done to minimize it is it's a question of scale. It's a question of scale. What is to be done to minimize it? I don't know. I wish I had a good answer for that. I can tell individual people how they can better inoculate themselves from extremism. So to be honest, tankies are more right-wing. No, I don't agree with that. I don't. Said how to not become a tanky, not like trains. I don't agree with that. I find tankies to be incredibly authoritarian leftists. The only reason that a lot of their ideas tend to juxtapose with right-wing extremists is because those right-wing extremists are the extreme authoritarianism, and you're seeing the authoritarianism bleed through more than anything. That's my take. Maybe I'm incorrect there, but I don't see tankies as more left-wing or more right-wing. Like, to argue that we on the left do not have our own bad apples is to argue from a position of extreme naivete. Said our centrist right wing? I mean, by definition, technically no, but the problem is that it depends on what positions you find yourself in the middle of as far as a centrist is concerned. Like, are you a centrist where human rights are concerned? This is the problem with trying to, like, argue anything based off a political scale very, very accurately. Political compasses and scales are not accurate. Like, it's not just a simple left to right thing where left is good, right is bad. A true centrist is indecisive on every point. A true centrist goes to ddlgplayground.com and gets the dildo shaped like a fence. That's typically what happens. But we're going to continue the article itself after the bit there. So the sheriff's department says it wasn't clear what might have touched off the horrific rampage. As a part of this ongoing investigation, they are seeking insight into what set this into motion, leading to a resident fatally shooting his wife, shooting and seriously injuring his daughter, and killing the family dog. His other daughter, Rebecca Landis, who was not wounded on Sunday, told the Detroit News that her father suffered mental health challenges that she pinned on conspiracy theories and extremist ideologies he picked up online. We're going to take a look at that article here in a sec. According to Oakland's Sheriff's Office, police received a chilling 911 call from a 25-year-old woman who said her father had been shot and had killed her mother. We already went over that part. Police do not know what led to the shooting. Family dog was also shot multiple times. Rachel Landis was stable, blamed her father's mental health and recent online interest in extremism and conspiracy theories. I think that he was prone to mental issues, but it really brought him down when he was reading all those weird things on the internet. Iger Landis had no criminal history, and there was no record of protective orders. I thought that this would have more specifics on that. Rebecca Landis said after President Donald Trump lost, her father started falling deeper into crazy ideas online, including QAnon conspiracy theories. Okay, so we're not getting much different from the other article. That's what's being said right here. Her father got worse after 2020. Rebecca Landis told the news that she was the author of a statement on a Reddit page called QAnon Casualties that blamed her father's issues on the false but widespread conspiracy theory about, among other things, Trump's leading top-secret war on a cabal of pedophiles and criminals. We're going to take a look at that here in a sec. She cursed QAnon supporters and said she hopes the FBI tightens its grip on you, so such conspiracy theorists might someday rot in prison. Oh, fun, he is? Wait, what? Excuse me, I'm a centrist, independent. I can't decide if I'm a Democratic Socialist or a Tea Party Libertarian. Okay, cool. You do you. I think that is so far out of right field. Tankies definitely circle back to right wing as they struggle to make their authoritarian apologia compatible with whatever left wing ideas they have. That I've run into both right winger that accused me of being a Chinese agent. Oh Jesus, Sakura. Jesus. Again, I think this is the problem with trying to boil anything down to a political compass. It doesn't work. Political compasses are not very accurate. I can tell you vaguely that I'm left, and I can tell you specifically that my ideology is that of a socialist. Like, I can do that, but you're not going to get more accurate than that by going to a political compass. Said Sheriff Michael Picard on Monday thanks dispatchers, police, and deputies for their fast work. Said it's an unbelievably horrific act. It is sad on so many levels, but due to the response and professionalism of our dispatch, they were blah, 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 blah. Police did their jobs. Okay, cool. That's as far as we need to go there. What I'm more interested in is the far more personal bit. Let's see here. Trigger warning, my dad snapped and killed my family this morning. Said, yep, the internet ruined him. Growing up, my parents were extremely loving and happy people. I always had a special bond with my parents. In 2020, after Trump lost, my dad started down the QAnon rabbit hole. He kept reading conspiracy theories about the stolen election, Trump, vaccines, etc. He always said he wanted to keep us safe and healthy. It kept getting worse, and he verbally snapped at us a few times. Nothing physical, though. He never got physical with anybody. Well, at around 4 a.m. on September 11th, he had an argument with my mother and decided to take our guns and shoot her, my dog, and my sister. My mother succumbed to her wounds, and my sister's in the hospital right now. My dad also fired back at the cops, and they killed him. I'm shocked, and I don't even know what to say. Fuck you, QAnon. I hope the FBI tightens its grip, and that your lackeys rot in prison and hell for poisoning so many people. Yeah. She wrote this the same day. We can confirm this is authentic. I'm sorry for your loss. Is this real? Are you okay? I'm sorry this happened. So, for me, I read the Reddit post first because it popped up on my Twitter feed, and I didn't believe that it was a thing that happened because that did not seem like a thing that you just post on Reddit. And then I found the news article confirming that no, it was a thing that happened. It was a real thing that happened. The first thing this person did was went on the internet and grieved. Like, whatever you might think, this is grieving. This is grieving the loss of the mind of a loved one as they spiraled down. Instead of stated so casually, that's also what happens when you get used to it. When you get used to somebody spiraling down that mental hole, and when you're in shock after the event happens, like, that's all you got. That's all you have. You just have the facts, the data. It's all you can deliver anymore. Because everything else kind of goes by the wayside. I know what it's like to have something terrible happen to you, not quite to this scale, but where the only thing you can do is just analyze the facts. I've literally had events that still resonate with me today, and the only thing I could do with the situation was take notes on what happened, so my memory wouldn't fail me if I needed to talk about it later. It should be noted, this is what happens with extremism. When you find yourself in those reality-denying groups that will tell you that, don't worry, you're not crazy, you're one of the only ones that's not crazy. You're one of the only ones that knows what's really going on in the world. It can be really easy to view everybody else, especially people who have your best interests at heart, as enemies. Because they don't know you, right? They don't know the things you know, the privileged knowledge you were bequeathed by whoever it happened to be at the time, be it Alex Jones or Donald Trump, or it doesn't matter. Caleb Maupin, even, if I were to grab somebody from the other side of the political spectrum who's equally fucky. Like, no matter what you do, the idea that you have privileged knowledge that changes and shapes the way the world operates can make anybody who doesn't have that same knowledge, or worse, knows about it and disagrees with you, it can make them seem like an enemy. And when they do, shit like this happens. Like, this isn't a conversation where I get to go, aha, gun control fixes this, because no. This was a type of murder that was going to happen at some point because of the situation that everybody found themselves in. Because of the Kool-Aid that was being constantly consumed by one very tragic individual in the father. And it's fucked up. Like, I wish it wasn't this way. I wish the world didn't operate this way, and I wish our brains were able to better identify reality. But the problem is that they're not. They're not. We're pattern-seeking individuals. That's all humans are at the end of the day. And if somebody is connecting those dots for you and doing it wrong, all you're going to see is that the patterns line up. You may not know how to specifically map out every bit of reality, but if somebody says, as an example, steel beams can't be melted by jet fuel, and you take that on the surface and go, okay, and then you show them 9/11, you've filled in those gaps for them already. You filled in the gaps. Jet fuel was the combustible thing. The towers fell. They were supported by steel beams. Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. Therefore, the towers couldn't have fallen because of the planes. It must have been thermite explosives. It must have been that. Ignoring the fact that metal can be weakened to the point of collapse without being made to melt. Like, there was literally a video of a dude at a forge just getting metal hot enough to collapse it without getting it anywhere near what jet fuel burns to. And showing that you can bend something with your hands with almost minimal effort as long as you weaken it enough with heat. But that extra information isn't going to be there if somebody is not here to give you all that information. If you're relying on someone else to do that thinking for you, and they are just connecting a handful of the dots and not giving you the tools you need to research further, then guess what? You're going to find yourself as one of those people that says, do your own research, but all the research you did was listening to some guy on the internet because you couldn't do the due diligence to go further. You couldn't do the due diligence to see that A connected to B, but you were ignoring C. And that part was so crucial to your understanding of how a building collapsed that you were willing to believe every other thing that came out of this person's mouth because the first thing they said about the buildings collapsing made sense. And when you get people so far down the rabbit hole that they are willing to deny literal reality, because why would they accept the thing everybody else was saying? Everybody else is sheep. Everybody else has to be sheep. You're the one who knows better, right? Everybody else has to be planning against you, right? They don't know the things you know, and if they did, and they still don't believe you, then they have to be an enemy. Maybe they were even planted, and the paranoia sets in. And once that paranoia sets in, it's very hard to deprogram someone, because deprogramming them necessarily puts you in that category of enemy. This is why no mass creation broadcasts. I can't give you an inoculate for people in general. I can tell people, please, go talk with people of varying ideologies. Go talk with people who believe various things. Go consult experts when you are trying to find something specific. I can tell people to do that, and that can inoculate them from extremism, but at the end of the day, that's going to inoculate individual peoples. I'm not solving the problem of groups. I'm not able to solve that problem. And yeah, as Sakura's pointing out in chat, that'll always just reduce the chances somebody becomes an extremist. But it won't necessarily remove them from that pool of possibility. I've had a friend who over time I thought was getting better and better and better at not falling down conspiracy rabbit holes because they were being presented with accurate information and they were beginning to accept it. But the problem is that when you are giving accurate information to somebody, there's always somebody on the other end giving them inaccurate information. There's always somebody on the other end who is doing just as much, if not more, as you. And sometimes it's on that person who they listen to. But yes, reducing the chances that people will become an extremist, that is important, because in situations especially like what happened here, you may end up saving a life. Or two. I don't know how many more stories like this we're going to find. But I sincerely hope we don't see one more. If I remember correctly, the time that Putin started his invasion of Ukraine, Bo did a video on how to get through to people in the Fox News rabbit hole. Well, that may be a video worth watching. Bo's actually pretty good at speaking to people who are in that particular bit of extremism. But that said, as somber of an episode as that is, let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you've got a better strategy for tackling extremism, for inoculating yourself and people you care about, let me know. For my part, I can only tell people to talk with people you disagree with. Don't let yourself fall in an echo chamber. Certainly don't compromise your morals. And also, if somebody's legitimately an expert in something, ask questions. Be curious. If you have them at your fingertips to talk to them. Don't rely on random-ass Joe Schmo on the internet. You don't know their credentials, and you don't know their motives. So, let me know your thoughts. And as always, everyone, insert end a video tagline here.